Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll get started shortly. To those who are here in person, thank you. If you are here to provide public comment in person, please fill out a comment card in the back of the room and bring it up front. If you are on the Zoom, we'll go through the hands raised, which I see a few. So our first hand raise I see is Amy's iPhone. Good morning, Amy. Do you have public comment or comment on any agenda items today? Amy, I see you're unmuted. Do you have public comment or comment on any agenda items today? I can kind of hear you. I'm going to come back to you, okay? Let me check on our speaker. I'll come back to you, but I see that your hand's raised. We'll come back. Audit LA, good morning. Do you have public comment or a comment on our agenda items today? Caller, Audit LA, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and let us know if you have public comment today or comment on any of our agenda items. We'll come back to you. I see you're still muted. Next, thank you. Next hand raise is Gigi's phone. Gigi, if you have public comment today or comment on our agenda items, can you let us know?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Great, it's working.
Okay. I would just like to do general public comment, please.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Next hand raised is caller Mona M. Mona, do you have public comment or comment on any of our agenda items today?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
General public comment, please.
Thank you, Mona.
Thank you.
Next hand raised is caller Barry Bader. Do you have general public comment or comment on any of our agenda items today?
General and all items.
Thank you. Mirjam, I see your hand raised. Do you have comment on general public comment or comment on any items today?
Hi, general public comment.
Thank you. I'm going to come back to our two hands raised that we were having some audio issues. Caller Audit LA, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself. Do you have general public comment or comment on agenda items?
Okay, I want public comment, and I'm going to try to get through every last agenda item.
Thank you, speaker.
Thank you.
And let's come back to Amy's iPhone. Caller Amy, do you have general public comment or comment on our agenda items?
General public comment.
Thank you. I can put us into record mode and we'll get started.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Public Works meeting for Friday, December 20th, our last one for 2024. Ms. Zatorsky, if you'd like to take roll call and establish quorum for us, please.
Absolutely. Good morning, President Corson. Devin Zatorsky with the Board of Public Works, taking role in establishing quorum. We're joined today by President Corson, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner King, and Commissioner Mitchell, and we have quorum. We're also joined by our City Attorney Representative Adina Hoppenstand, and again, I'm Devin Zatorsky with the Board of Public Works. President, we have, let me find my paper. We have public comment. We have 6 speakers on public comment on the Zoom platform, no one in person, and we have some folks commenting on multiple agenda items.
Great. Just for everyone's awareness, when we're going to take public comment, multiple agenda public comment, do the presentation, and then I'm going to motion to put items 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 on consent. I'll make that motion after public comment to give our commissioners time to review and confirm. So with that, we'll start with general public comment.
Great. All our commenters look to be on the Zoom platform today, so we'll get started. Callers, reminder, you have 1 minute for general public comment. We'll get started with the first hand raised here, Amy.
Before we do that, let me read the rules and for
Thank
the
you.
public awareness. Public comment is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items that will be provided for up to 1 minute per person for a cumulative of 10 minutes for general public comment. The board may not take action on matters discussed during the public comment period, and we have our city attorney, Adina Hoppenstand, on hand to ensure everyone remains on topic and on scope of public works. With that, Ms. Zatorsky, if we could begin public comment, please.
Great. And reminder, 1 minute for general public comment. Caller, Amy's iPhone, you'll have 1 minute.
The very fact that you still have planters on L. Ron Hubbard Way, though we've been calling in for months, multiple times a week, shows me that you have some subversion going on in the government, as stated by the famous Yuri Bezmenov, who was a KGB agent out of Russia, who had videos on how American government will be infiltrated by communists in every area of government. Well, it shows me that you can plug in the cult of Scientology being subverting every piece of government, every part of your system in LA, that you are been subverted. If he came back to life, he would tell you that. Mr. Yuri Bezmenov was a very smart man, and he would give you a lot of advice. And you are being judged by history by not doing your duty and showing that you were bought off by a mafia called La Osa Nostra of the cult of Scientology. Bye.
Thank you, caller. Next hand raised is Gigi's phone. Gigi, you'll have 1 minute for public comment.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So obviously, I want those planters gone. But let's not forget about the rose bushes. I'm pretty sure those were ordered to be removed as well. And I don't want any dogs getting hurt trying to, do their business, and then all of a sudden the thorny bush, cuts them. I don't want someone getting out of their car to fall on them and get hurt. Same thing with the planters. Someone can try to open their door, squeeze out, fall on the planters, hit their head on the cement. It just, they should be gone by now. And what Amy was saying is true. I really wish you guys would look up Operation Snow White. Scientology does infiltrate the government at all levels, and that has to be the reason it's taken so long.
Is that it? Okay, thank you, caller. That's 1 minute. Next hand raised is caller Mona M. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you. Am I unmuted?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, board. It's me again, Mona. I really wish to not have to come join you. As I've said in the past, I think the reason you don't do anything about the planners or the permits is because you like us coming here and talking to you every couple of times a week. However, I wanted to wish you a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, if you celebrate. And a very good present to me could be to be able to use the streets again, to have access with my wheelchair to get on and off public transit, paratransit services. And to me, that would be a wonderful present if we woke up Christmas morning and all those planners were freaking moved. Thank you, and I yield back my time.
Thank you, caller. Next hand raised is caller Barry. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that although it hasn't come yet, for all the Scientology stuff, which I genuinely don't like, for what it's worth, all the efforts I've put in so far, while some of it has been related to Scientology, really I'm an accountability guy, and I can promise you, you guys will be personally served with civil suits, and not just claims against the city. I really hope that for what it's worth, you decided to sell out your career is worth it for being a supporter of Scientology. The difference between a lot of other protest movements is people just do the rah-rah, speak out, hold the public accountable, but then it will follow through with the civil suits. Not just claims against the city, but personal suits for gross negligence of supervisory duties. It is coming, so I hope you guys are ready for it. And Ms. Deputy City Attorney, say hi to the State Bar for me.
All right, that's 1 minute. Caller Mirjam, you'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Great. On L. Ron Hubbard Way, the planters appear, blocking the path with a vicious sneer. The cult of Scientology plays its sly game, turning safe streets into hazards of shame. Wheelchairs and walkers forget getting through, a cruel little trap they laid out for you. And Public Works Board, where's your fight? You have done nothing to set this mess right. Scientology schemes, and the board stands still while the public pays the price of their will. So here's our Christmas wish. Here's our wish for Christmas cheer. Tear down these hazards and make the street clear. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Next hand raised is caller Audit LA. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Yes, good morning. And I do wish everyone happy holidays, happy New Year, Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah. That being said, I want to piggyback what Amy and Gigi were saying. I am like somebody who's extremely persistent. I think you know that about me by now. And I've been coming to not just you every single meeting, sick or not. I go to city council meetings. I go to the city council people. I go to the neighborhood council meetings. I go to every single meeting that you can think of in this city. And with my main ask, okay, is for these, for the city to make this ADA compliant. I mean, I have other asks, but that has been consistent. And the fact that no one can get it done means that there is something very wrong in this city, and it has to be found out. It's because I said this last week. I think it's above you at this point. I don't even know if you. I
Thank
don't
you,
know who you
caller. That's
answered
1 minute. I see we have one more hand raised. The phone number ending in 403. If you want to go ahead via, if you're on the phone, if you press *6 to unmute yourself. If you have general public comment, you can go ahead and do that now. Phone number ending in 403. Hit *6.
Can you hear me?
Hello, do you have general public comment? You'll have 1 minute, starting now.
Yes. And that's why I want to direct its attention to Carl Sand. Now, no, the FBI raided the deputy mayor. And today, I'm going to go to court today for another Chinese person. This time, interfering with local elections, according to the FBI. You interfered with my right to speak Wednesday. Why you do that? Why do you want to go to prison? All you had to do was give me my 1 minute of general comment. But you said no. He black. He don't get to speak here. our master teach us to slave. So you're going to learn from the FBI. You don't take public comment, your money gets shut down and nothing gets approved. And none of your vendors will be paid until you do your public diligence.
1 minute,
Now,
thank you. All right, President Corson, that is the end of our general public comment. We do have some hand raised for multiple item comments if you would like to take that next.
Thank you, Ms. Zatorsky. We'll close general public comment and proceed to multiple agenda public comment. Again, a reminder for public commenters, please stay on topic. And we have our City Attorney, Adina Hoppenstand, sorry about that, on hand to ensure you're staying on topic. With that, Ms. Zatorsky, if you'd like to proceed with with multiple agenda public comment, please.
Yes, our first hand raise is caller Barry. You'll have 3 minutes to comment on the items on today's agenda.
Yeah, hi. For item number 1, I want to file a official CPRA for all communications in the past 2023 to 2024 corresponding to this motion, including electronic email, whether it be phone call records as well as a list of all contract terms, as well as payments and all invoices. You can email me, filmthepoliceusa@protonmail.com. I also want to follow up with a second public records request of all communication occurring by all commissioners at this present meeting from beginning to end for your emails as well as your electronic chat records on your, I believe, Microsoft Teams platform. And that's for each commissioner. Again, you can email me at filmthepoliceusa@protonmail.com. Moving on, for agenda item number 2, C to 15, construction services contract for your Cisco capital improvement project. Same as my initial public records request. You can copy that verbatim. Moving on to CD 14, I want all correspondence for this agenda item for that's occurred between 2023 and end of the year to date, 2024.
Which agenda item?
3. Moving on to agenda item 4. You can repeat verbatim for the agenda item 3 public records request I had. Agenda item 5, another public records request. Same thing for my very first public records request, all contract terms and correspondence with the vendor, as well as all invoices for 2023-2024. Moving on, number 6, I want a public records request for the purchase of the spectrometer system and all electronic communication with the vendor per se, as well as all the invoices for 2023-2024. Moving on, agenda 7, and you can just do that same exact public records request up until 8, which is actually something I will ignore. You don't have to do a public records request for that. Agenda item 9, I want another public records request for the sole source procurement you have there with Glendale Water Reclaimment Plant. I want all communication as well as all contracts, whether they're in the works or have already been approved, as well as all invoices and statements for 2023 to 2024. And I believe that'll do it for now.
Thank you, caller. All right, our next hand raised for multiple agenda item. Caller Audit LA, you'll have 3 minutes to comment on the items on today's agenda.
Okay, for 16 and 17, I am hoping that the reports will eventually include the plans to make those areas ADA compliant. Because even though it's on the sidewalk, it does affect the street. People in the street who are parking or crossing cannot easily access, whether they're handicapped, like in a chair, a walker, or a cane. There's numerous blind people there that we have seen, and they cannot access. Number 18, make sure, like when they're dealing with sidewalks, again, make sure that Fountain and LRH, the sidewalks are ADA compliant. It's not hard. It's been an ask for 6 months. And so asking you to finally do that. I mean, you have obviously the money to throw away at all these other things, like, all right, let me just go through them. 1 and 2, order them to stay in budget. It is a continuous, they think that we, the taxpayers, are Santa. We're not. We're in a budget deficit. Demand that they stay, we want clean water, but we don't need a Disney-esque. And that brings me down to the ones that are, you're finally receiving grant money from NASA and stuff. And I'm glad, finally. That's what LAPD does. Learn from LAPD. They get the lion's share of the budget. They figure out how to do that. And they get all this outside money funneled in or granted or whatever. You should be doing the same thing. I mean, you're copying everybody else with, cutting off speaking time. Copy that. Okay, number 3, why are we all, again, over budget? Why? Number 4 and 5, I mean, it says it's being delivered in November. We're in December. You guys should be, it's just a bad look for you guys that you're buying something before it's approved. It's ridiculous. So at the very least, you should amend it. If it's been purchased already before approval, that is serious stuff right there. If it's not purchased yet, then you need to go through your, motions and revise them and amend them to when the actual date of purchase is going to be, because this is not giving us clarity, and it looks like there's shenanigans going on. Number 8, I hope you use your recess time to reflect on our time together and how you can use your position for better outcomes. Meaning, if you have to stand up to the people above you who are telling you not to make this ADA compliant, tell them that no, you are no longer going to be on that. You want the city to abide by the law. And number 9, why can't they keep a budget and keep it? This is a continuous theme that we see. It's never budgets going down, right? It's never saying, oh, here we want to return the money. No, it's always asking for more. That's because you guys aren't tough with it. You guys do not sit there and
Thank you, caller.
question
That's
why,
time.
and you don't.
All right, we have one more hand raised caller on the phone ending in 403. If you have comment on our multiple agenda items, please comment on the items on the agenda. Phone call ending in 403. If you unmute yourself, ending in 403. Caller ending in 403. Caller ending in 403. Last call. 403. Okay. Sounds like we're having audio issues.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Zatorsky. With that, we'll close multiple agenda public comment, and we'll quickly proceed to minutes from Monday, December 2nd and Monday, December 9th. If there's a second to my motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Zatorsky, there's a first from myself and a second from President Pro Tem Grant.
Great. We'll take the roll call starting with you, President Corsan.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes. The item is approved.
All right. Commissioners, I had said I wanted to put some items on consent, so I'm going to make a motion, if there's no objection, to put items 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 on consent. Is there a second to my motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. Ms. Zatorsky, there is a first from myself and a second from Vice President Chavez and Commissioner Mitchell.
Let me write that down, and then let's take a vote to move these items on consent. We'll start with you, President Corsan.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes. The item is approved.
Great. And now we'll vote to approve the items on consent. If there's a second to my motion.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Zatorsky, there's a first from myself and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Okay, let's take the roll call to vote to approve the items. President Corsan.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
Commissioner King,
Aye.
and Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes. The item is adopted.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. With that, we're going to move on to the presentation for our Community Composting and Food Recovery Program graduation. I believe Ms. Zatorski is going to lead our presentation, so we will buy time for our presenter, and our honorees are in our first row, correct?
Yes,
All
correct.
right.
We have our participants from the LA Conservation Corps here. Good morning, President, Vice President, Commissioners. Excited to see you on the other side of the table. In my other capacity, I'm here with my colleague Roman Rodriguez, who runs the Compost and Food Recovery Program. So I'm excited today to introduce you to our first graduating class of the Compost and Food Recovery graduates who are with LA Conservation Corps. We started this program in the summer of 2023, funded by the California for All Youth Grant, which was an initiative through the governor's office to work on youth programming, which LA Conservation Corps has been a wonderful partner and hiring young people in the community. And the work has been specifically focused on compost and food recovery. So we have three graduates here today, or two graduates with us today, three who have officially completed their hours. I'm going to turn it over to Roman Rodriguez, who's our program manager, to talk a little bit about the program, and then we'll present their certificates to the graduates and maybe hear from some of the graduates about this meaningful work they've done to help tackle climate change, work on our initiatives we have with sanitation to compost food, remediate soil, work on helping the environment, and diverting food from landfills via Senate Bill 1383. So Roman, our program manager.
Thank you, Devin. Good morning, commissioners. So I'm excited to be here with this lovely group, and I'm going to start off with a an interesting fact rather than fun. Did you know that landfills are the third largest source of methane in California? And that organics like food scraps, yard trimmings, paper, cardboard make up half of what Californians dump in the landfills? Here at the board, with the help of our community partners at Los Angeles Conservation Corps, we have two food waste diversion and prevention programs to help us keep emissions out of the landfills. The first one is our food rescue program, where LACC, Los Angeles Conservation Corps for short, LACC Corps members collect several tons of edible food waste, edible food each week, and divert it to local community food banks like MEND. The Food Waste Prevention Program gives us an opportunity to address food insecurities in disadvantaged communities. Furthermore, food that is deemed inedible will get diverted into our second organics program. We call it LA Community Composting. LA Community Composting is a pilot program that kicked off in 2023 with LACC and LA Compost. The program was implemented with the goal of diverting food waste into compost hubs and restoring soil by creating and distributing compost throughout Los Angeles through the funding of the California for All state grant. All of these efforts are in response to Senate Bill 1383, which aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by diverting organic waste from landfills. Through both programs, LACC Corps members are receiving hands-on training and certifications that will help towards potential employment with the city. Together, these two food waste prevention programs demonstrate a zero waste model. In the first year and a half of our program, we have onboarded over 24 participants. We have 111,000 pounds of food waste collected, 32 total cubic yards of compost distributed, 110 cubic yards of mulch distributed, and over 260,000 metric tons of carbon or CO2 diverted. Today, we celebrate two graduates from the program. These candidates have done a lot of work to get here, including 1,500 hours of work in the program, completed an LA City Personnel Department training, received an above average rating in their employee evaluation. And so we are thrilled to present a couple of certificates to them for their hard work and dedication. But before that, Oh, we're going to present. Okay, great. So first we have Lorenzo Chavez. Congratulations. Right. And now we have Jason Peralta.
So congratulations to two of our graduates here today. I know you guys have worked really long hours in the field, turning compost, learning all about really interesting things that help our climate and our environment and our community locally. I want to turn it over to Amanda, who runs the Commonwealth Nursery with LA Conservation Corps, which is a city partnership as well. And she is on the ground every day with the participants. So just say a few words to our commissioners about the impactful work they're doing.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Amanda Chavez, Program Manager for LA Conservation Corps. I've had the privilege and honor to work with these two young men throughout the program. I want to start off by saying thank you to the commissioners, but also to Roman and Devin for your ongoing support of the program. And because of your contributions, we've been very successful, as you can see. But I'm here to highlight both these two young men and what they've achieved in the program. It's been a really cool thing to be able to see them grow, not only professionally, but personally throughout the time here. So thank you. But congratulations to Lorenzo and Jason. You guys have done a lot of great things for the community, and because of you, I wish you the best, and I know you guys will do great things in the future. So thank you. Happy holidays.
And Jason or Lorenzo, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but would either of you like to say something about your time in the program? Let the commissioners know what you've learned, something you've gained from working with LA Conservation Corps, or working in it's all yours.
Okay, so I want to thank Roman and Devin for your support. Because of the composting program, I got my license and completed trainings. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Yeah, I also want to thank Roman and Devin. I feel really confident about the work that I've done, helping, um, save the world, really. And I feel confident that this composting program has given me the knowledge and experience to help me in my conservation career. So thank you.
That is our presentation for our graduates. I'll turn it over to the commissioners if you want to say anything, and then we can do a picture and close up the presentation.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ms. Zatorsky. Thank you, Roman. Congratulations. And also happy birthday to Roman. Today is his birthday. I'll start from my left and go to my right. Commissioner Mitchell, if there's any remarks you wanted to provide.
Congratulations. Thank you for your hard work, and I know you're on the path to doing some great things in your lives, and so we want to recognize you and hope that you continue to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. President Pro Tem Grant.
I want to recognize your stewardship and your activism. It's few that are willing to shoulder the responsibility to steward, to make sure that our planet can be saved. And in these tumultuous times, with activists like you, I'm confident that we're going to make it through and have a better world. Thank you.
And Vice President Chavez.
Oh, thank you. Well, first of all, I'm so impressed that you completed 1,500 hours. That is an achievement that deserves to be celebrated. And I was reminded of, the importance of small intentional acts. Things like diverting waste from our landfills. Like, these are the things that have powerful ripple effects on our communities, and don't forget that. you're now part of a worldwide movement to, protect our environment, promote environmental stewardship. It's the next generation that's going to help move and undo some of the mistakes of the past. And, you're part of this bigger movement. And thank you for participating, and we're appreciating, and hopefully you can give us some lessons on, because I'm always struggling with my compost pile, so I would love some tips.
Thank you. Commissioner Kang.
Thank you, Mr. President. So congratulations. Just wanted to echo what all of my fellow commissioners have mentioned before, but also want to acknowledge that this is an important topic, as all of you mentioned, and it's amazing to see that our young people are involved in this program, and I hope you two become ambassadors of this topic and this program moving forward, so congratulations.
I'll echo that and say congratulations. Thank you for participating in the program, sticking with the program, completing the program. But I also want to acknowledge Devin and Roman for making sure we took the time as a board to recognize you in this program, and also the contributions of LACC partnering actively and being a steward of this program for us. So appreciate everything you've done as well in continuing to be a part of these programs. So thank you. With that, we'll take a quick 5-minute break and take photos somewhere.
Okay.
All right, President Corson, I'm going to resume recording and let's just establish quorum really quick again since we all left our seats. 10:36. We have President Corson, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner King, and Commissioner Mitchell all present.
Thank you, Ms. Zatorsky. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. And once again, for the public's awareness, items 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 were moved to consent and already approved. So we will proceed to item number 1 from the Bureau of Engineering in Council District 11, Construction Services Contract Capital Improvement Project 8219, Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant, Membrane Bioreactor, Pilot Bioreactor Recoding. And this is not Ethan Wong. So just please state your name for the record, and then we'll proceed with the presentation.
All right. Good morning, President Corsand and members of the board. I'm Fez Malik, an assistant division engineer with the Bureau of Engineering, Environmental Engineering Division. The Environmental Engineering Division is responsible for the design and construction management of capital improvement projects throughout the 4 water reclamation plants within the city of LA. Today I'm here to request authorization for the city engineer to utilize the construction services contract, Cisco, and issue task work orders for the recoding of the bioreactor tank at the Hyperion Membrane Bioreactor, MBR, pilot facility. The requested project budget is $1,363,000. The Hyperion MBR pilot facility is a cornerstone of the Pure Water Los Angeles program. This ambitious program aims to transform the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant into a 100% water recycling facility, providing a reliable and sustainable source of water for the city of LA. The MBR pilot facility plays a critical role by gathering essential data on pathogen removal efficiency within MBR systems. This data is also vital for securing regulatory approvals necessary to advance the implementation of recycled water throughout the city. Unfortunately, the bioreactor tank has experienced significant deterioration, including delamination and corrosion of its internal coating. This damage poses a serious threat to proper functioning of downstream equipment, particularly the sensitive membrane systems. Moreover, the continued operation of the pilot facility and the collection of crucial data are contingent upon the successful recoding of the tank. To address these issues, the project will remove the existing fine bubble diffuser system inside the bioreactor tank. It will dry blast inside of the tank with containment and dehumidification to remove the existing coating. We'll apply a new coating and then reinstall the bubble diffuser system and test the overall system. Utilizing the Cisco contract will be instrumental in ensuring efficient and timely delivery of this project. The project is on the Pure Water LA program's critical path for gathering data and securing approvals for 100% water recycling. To avoid jeopardizing the Pure Water LA program's timeline, Cisco's negotiated task work orders will enable rapid mobilization and efficient execution, offering a faster and more cost-effective approach than traditional bidding. The project budget of $1,363,000 has undergone review and received approval from the Program Review Committee. And in conclusion, the Bureau of Engineering recommends the board authorize the city engineer to proceed with this project utilizing the Cisco contract. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go to commissioners' questions and comments, Ms. Zatorsky, do we have any hands raised on this item?
No public comment for item 1.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this item? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? I'll second. Thank you. Ms. Zatorsky, we have a first from Commissioner Mitchell and a second from Commissioner King.
Great. We'll take the roll call starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you. Are you here for item 2 as well?
Yeah, I'm covering for Ethan.
Okay, let me just read it into the record. Item number 2, Council District 15 from the Bureau of Engineering and Construction Services Contract Capital Improvement Project 8563, Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant Above Ground Low Pressure Gas Piping Replacement Project. Please proceed.
All right, well, good morning again. I'm Fez Malik, and I'm here today to present a critical infrastructure upgrade project at the Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant, concerning the low-pressure gas piping system. The requested project budget is $1,648,000. Currently, the Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant utilizes 4 anaerobic digesters to process wastewater solids, producing methane gas stored in a low-pressure gas holder for renewable energy use. However, the existing underground pressure gas piping installed over 50 years ago has reached the end of its service life. This aging infrastructure presents a significant safety concern, the risk of gas leaks. Despite past repairs, the entire underground system requires replacement to ensure continued operation and, more importantly, to mitigate the potential for gas leaks. This project proposes transitioning the existing underground low-pressure gas piping to an above-ground system. The transition offers several key benefits. First, a portion of the existing underground piping runs beneath water pipes, electrical duct banks, and an electrical substation, making maintenance and inspection for potential gas leaks extremely difficult. This inaccessibility increases the risk of undetected leaks and potential hazards. Above ground piping will significantly improve accessibility and simplify future maintenance. Second, the current moisture drain system requires confined space entry for maintenance, posing safety concerns. This project will upgrade the drain system for easier and safer access. The scope of work includes several key components. We plan to abandon approximately 350 linear feet of underground 12-inch low-pressure gas piping. We're going to install approximately 500 linear feet of new above-ground piping. We're going to remove and replace 4 knockout drums that collect moisture from condensation. We're going to install an upgraded low-pressure gas piping moisture drain system, and we're going to replace a few transmitters. We recommend utilizing the Cisco contract for this project. The unique site conditions and the project's proximity to other major construction activities at the plant require greater adaptability to changes, flexible scheduling, and close coordination between multiple contractors and plant staff. Cisco offers a more efficient and effective approach for this complex work, and the need to synchronize with another contractor's work on the digesters and minimize plant downtime makes Cisco the most practical and efficient approach. The Bureau of Engineering recommends authorizing the use of Cisco and authorizing the city engineer to issue task work orders to the contractor for an amount not to exceed $1,648,000. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Zatorsky, do we have any hands raised on this item?
No, we do not. No hands raised for item 2.
Great. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this item? No questions from anyone else. I do. So this current one lasted 50 years. How long are you expecting this to last now?
We're expecting to last about 50 years.
50 years. Okay, that's good to know. All right. Well, yeah, none of us will be here by then. Is there a motion on the table for this item?
Oh, I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ms. Zatorsky. There is a first from Vice President Chavez and a second from Commissioner Grant.
Great. We'll take the roll call starting with you, President Corsan.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 3 in Council District 14, also from the Bureau of Engineering, we have a revised budget and issue change order number 009 for Spinello Infrastructure West. And this is not Edward Arrington, but I see him here. Please state your name and begin the presentation when you're ready.
Good morning. My name is Alyssa Reyes, Environmental Engineer with Bureau of Engineering. I will be speaking on item 3, pertaining to change order number 9 for the North Outfall Sewer Rehabilitation Unit 10 project. So for background, the Board of Public Works awarded a contract to Spinello Infrastructure West on February 9, 2022 in the amount of $33,519,257 with a contingency amount of $1,675,963 for a total approved construction budget of $35,195,220 in order to construct the project. So this project involves the rehabilitation of 5,013 feet of semi-elliptical North Outfall Sewer Unit 10 from the intersection of the 101 freeway and Mission Road and extending along the Union Pacific Railroad right-of-way to 256 feet north of the intersection of Gibbon Street and Cardinal Street, using the method of segmented slip lining. So slip lining consists of pushing segments of slightly smaller pipe into the original pipe and the grouting the annular space. And this method minimizes subsurface disturbance, restores the usable life of the pipe, and is generally less expensive than full replacement. And currently, this sewer project is close to being completed in construction. In regards to change order number 9, its purpose is to accommodate a request from Council District 14 to augment the project scope by including additional asphalt repair and the implementation of bike lane striping on Mission Road. This is from Cesar Chavez Street to First Street. And this is an important work effort for CD14 as it seeks to provide safe multimodal transportation services in the district. And the cost for this change order is not to exceed $703,788.66. So to date, 7 change orders have been processed, including the subject item, which 6 have been fully executed. 2 previously issued change orders were canceled or voided. And with the addition of change order number 9, the total percent increase in the contract amount is 3.11%. And to account for change order number 9, the project contingency needs to be increased by the same amount, $703,788.66. This yields a new not to exceed authorized budget of $35,899,008.66. The Program Review Committee overseeing this program approved this change order work and the revised budget on December 11, 2024. As for funding, there is no impact to the general fund. The funding for the additional work under this change order is being made available through the Engineering Special Services Fund as listed in the board report. Therefore, we are asking the board to authorize the aforementioned additional contingency of $703,788.66, approve a revised construction budget of $35,899,008.66, and authorize the city engineer to issue change order number 9 for this project, thereby increasing the scope and performing the work as described in the report per the request of Council District 14. So this concludes my report. Thank you. If you have any questions, I may answer them.
Thank you. Mrs. Jaworski, do we have any public comment on this item?
No public comment.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this item? This type of work was nowhere in the scope of the original contract, correct?
Correct. So the original sewer repair project includes the typical roadway restoration required for a typical excavation pits for this type of work. But the request, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Please proceed.
The request from Council District 14 was specifically for an intersection that was adjacent to but slightly outside of the project limits. So we assisted them with providing support and assisting them with this request, just ensuring that the funding was provided because the type of work that was requested was outside of the original scope of work that from the original source of funds.
And the amount of the contingency that we're adding covers the full amount of the work done?
Correct.
And is it going to be one of the subcontractors already on the list doing the work?
Correct. It's
Do you
the
know-
same contractor under Spinello.
Same. Do you know which one that is?
I can follow up with you at the moment. I
Okay.
don't recall.
That's fine. And then generally when this happens, does this happen frequently?
Not too frequently. Occasionally.
Okay. And so what is the process when it does happen? I know you said there's a committee that reviews it, but is there like a DOT review of it as well?
Yes. So DOT and the various adjacent bureaus or involved bureaus are coordinating with Council District, and we've been coordinating with them as well. I think we are starting to see more frequent requests come up, and I think we're still working on getting a standard procedure for addressing these type of requests more efficiently and streamlining it better. So I think we'll develop that process and share it when it's finalized.
Kind of segue to where I was going with this. So when it comes to streamlining these types of projects, is this helpful or is this an added obstacle?
It's I think it's helpful in the effort of trying to streamline the city's effort to getting work done in a general area just once. So if there's work that council district was already intending on doing in the future and Bureau of Engineering just happens to have a construction project in the same area, although it may not overlap completely, there's still overlap of work and there's still a need to work together to get the work done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no other questions, commissioners. If there are no questions, is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Zatorsky. There's a first from Commissioner Mitchell and a second from Vice President Chavez.
Great. We'll take the roll call starting with you, President.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Grant. President Pro Tem Grant. Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you. We have approved items 4, 5, and 6 on consent, so we will proceed to item number 7 from the Bureau of Street Services in all council districts, a request for authority to execute amendments to personal services contracts. And we have here Martha Yaniguez and Danny, just Martha. Please proceed when you're ready.
Yes, Martha Iniguez, representing the Bureau of Street Services. We currently have 5 recycling and disposal contracts. The vendors are American Reclamation, California Waste Services, Ramco, which has been acquired by Arcosa, Crown Recycling and Waste Management. They handle the recycling and disposal of inert materials, mixed debris, waste debris, white goods, bulky items, and construction and demolition materials that our city crews collect from streets and sidewalks at job locations. Our crews deliver the materials to the contractors based on what type of materials the contractors accept and how closely their facility is to the project site. In March 2019, this board originally approved these contracts with all 5 vendors for a 3-year term, which began in January of 2020. In February of 2023, the board then authorized a 2-year extension for all 5 contracts. These contracts are now due to expire at the end of this year. However, we are still in the process of drafting an RFP to replace these contracts. We have negotiated an additional extension not to exceed 1 year with the 5 contractors. They have all agreed to the extension, and we thank them that they have also agreed not to increase their rates. The annual cost ceiling shall remain unchanged at $13 million. We request that the board approves to execute the amendments to allow sufficient time to complete the RFP process without disrupting service. We also request this board's approval to change the vendor's name on contract number 134893, since Arcosa, who bought out Ramco, has agreed to assume Ramco's contract. Finally, I have been made aware that the standard provisions portion was inadvertently omitted from transmittal number 8 for Arcosa's amendment. However, Arcosa is aware that the standard provisions will be part of their amendment. That concludes my report. I can answer any of your questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this item? Before that, no public comment, correct?
We did just receive a public comment card for item number 7. But since multiple comment is closed, if the speaker would like, they submitted multiple comments. If they would like to comment on number 7, that would be the item during this meeting.
Just point of clarification, if the speakers participate in multiple multiple agenda item public comment, they do not have an opportunity to comment now. However, if the speaker with the hand raised did not then participate and only has a single agenda item public comment, then they would proceed now for 1 minute.
Ms. Yaniguez, if you want to step outside the way, I believe it's the one person who's in the room. Go Puppet. So this is your first time coming before us since we adopted new board rules. We've already done multiple agenda item public comment, so you would have only the opportunity to speak on one agenda item. Is this the item you want to speak on? Because I know you submitted additional cards.
Yeah, how much time am I going to get?
1 minute.
1 minute.
That's not what the rules say. Read the rules.
We already did multiple agenda items.
But that you don't participate in multiple agenda. That
If this is your public comment, we can start the
3
time.
minutes doesn't apply, Your Honor. I'm going to use a judge.
Ms. Zatorsky, please start his time. He's speaking on item
Clock
7.
has started.
I told you, Grant, they're going to put you in prison. Don't do this. Read it. What does it say?
Please keep the comments to the agenda item. You have 1 minute.
You can't
It's
limit me to
started
1 minute.
already.
I didn't participate in quote unquote multiple agenda. So this agenda item limits you to 3 minutes if you participate in multiple agenda items. Therefore, since I didn't, I'm allowed to speak on 3 items up to a minimum 3 minutes, because your rules are not written that way. You don't even have on the agenda multiple agenda public comment period. It just says general public comments. General public comments is not multiple agenda items.
Please keep your item
did not
comments to
agendize.
the agenda item.
Don't listen to her. Listen to me. I'm going to federal court today to watch another person get indicted for political corruption. The FBI is arresting people. They're doing search warrants on people that work for the city.
Speaker, that's 1 minute for item 7.
So I got 2 more cards.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Make sure I get called on my other 2 cards.
We've already done multiple agenda items. Thank you.
I didn't sign.
This is your
make
one
sure I get
warning.
called when you call the items.
This is your final warning.
telling you,
Please
Brent.
leave the podium.
You got
Please leave the podium.
You have to stop him now.
Please remove this gentleman.
You have to stop him. That's why I drove down here today. I
Please.
drove all the way down here from Castaic. Please stop him from doing what he's doing, because your
Thank
funding
you. All right.
is
Please,
void.
please remove this gentleman from the room,
If you don't
please.
take public comment legally, it's void.
You've received
You
a
can have-
warning because the meeting cannot continue.
You can throw me out. You can imprison me. You can file fake TROs. You've done all that. That's why in 2017 I went to the
All right. Thank you. Please remove this gentleman from the room, please, and so we can proceed.
You know when he did what he did? It was,
Please remove this gentleman from the room.
and he didn't notify the federal airport that he's in charge of security.
Ms. Yanez, if you'd like to come back to the podium. Commissioners, do we have any other questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, is there a motion on the table to approve item number 7?
I'll move.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Ms. Zatorsky, there is a first from Commissioner Kang and a second from Commissioner Mitchell and Vice President Chavez.
All right, let's take the roll call for item number
I
7.
think because of the
President-
disruption, let's
Oh,
wait until the
Okay.
disruption clears.
This is a crime. Please stop doing this so we don't get the city sued. Please. Have a good approach.
Please proceed with the vote.
Yes, absolutely, President Corsan. Let's take the roll call, starting with you, President Corsan.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Wonderful, all ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you. All right, moving to number 8, which is an advisement. There is no report. Board of Public Works holiday and recess schedule for calendar year 2025. If there's a second to my motion to approve this item. Thank you.
Great. Second by Chavez, correct?
Correct. First for me and a second by Vice President Chavez.
Thank you, and just want to make sure to verbally, it looks like the agenda was corrected, but there's a note to make sure it says a corrected item, not a continued item. So, just want to make that clear.
Correct.
Thank you. Great. President Corsan, roll
Aye.
call. Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item number 9, a joint report from the Bureau of Engineering, Bureau of Sanitation, I'm going to read it from here because it's a little messy on my paper. Sole source procurement contract, Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant Headworks Improvement Capital Improvement Project 4172 in Council District 4. Please proceed with the presentation, but first introduce yourself, please. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Thank you. I'm Faz Malik, and I'm here today to request authorization for the sole source procurement of process equipment for Capital Improvement Project CIP 4172, the Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant Headworks Improvement Project. This project involves significant upgrades to the LAG Water Reclamation Plant, a facility jointly owned by the City of LA and the City of Glendale. Key improvements include replacing existing bar screens, adding a new bar screen for redundancy, and installing new influent pump with a variable frequency drive, a VFD. To ensure the successful implementation of these upgrades, we're requesting authorization to sole source the following equipment. One, we're asking for one Worthington influent pump by Flowserve, which is about $480,000. And we're selecting a Worthington pump because it ensures compatibility with the existing 3 Worthington pumps at the influent pump station at the plant. The second item we're sole sourcing is, or requesting to sole source, is one Rockwell Automation Allen Bradley VFD for $125,000. And selecting a Rockwell VFD ensures compatibility with over 60 Rockwell Allen Bradley VFDs that are already installed across all 4 plants. The third item is 11 Rotork actuators at $180,000. And same principle here. The plant has 480 Rotork actuators installed across the 4 water reclamation plants. And in standardizing this equipment, the benefit is that we'll increase operational efficiency at the plant because we will not need to train operators as often. It'll simplify maintenance for plant staff. It'll reduce spare parts redundancy, spare parts inventory, and will avoid integration issues, which ensures consistent performance across all 4 plants. Lastly, the fourth and final item that we're requesting to sole source is 3 Headworks International Bar Screen Assemblies, including installation services, for $2,287,000. One thing to note is that a sole source procurement for Headworks International Bar Screen Assemblies and installation services was previously approved on January 25th, 2017. While the procurement was approved at the time, the project itself was delayed due to other higher priority projects requiring immediate attention and available resources. Since that initial approval, the cost for this equipment has increased from $1,105,000 to $2,287,000 due to significant material and labor cost escalations. We're talking about a span of around 8 years. These new bar screens are vital for the improved debris removal, preventing damages to downstream equipment, and increasing system redundancy at the plant, ensuring that the plant can continue to operate effectively if one screen is offline and requires maintenance. The Program Review Committee, PRC, approved a total construction budget of $12.5 million for this project on August 14th, 2024, which includes $3,072,000 designated for the sole source procurement items I just mentioned. In conclusion, these sole source procurements are justified by the need for compatibility, reliability, and they'll provide long-term cost savings. The Bureau of Engineering recommends approving these requests to ensure the timely and successful completion of this project. Thank you. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Ms. Zatorsky, any public comment on this item?
No public comment.
Great. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this item?
I do.
Commissioner Mitchell.
You said the contract was originally approved in 2017, is that correct?
Correct.
If I remember the briefing correctly, this is a 4th steel bar screen?
These were 3 bar screen assemblies, including installation services.
Okay, so did the price of the bar screen go up 1.105?
Right, I see what you're asking. So yeah, so the original cost so we were sole sourcing the bar screen equipment plus installation services from the manufacturer. So the cost was both labor and material, the material cost and installing the equipment. Both of that cost was included in the new $2.28 million.
But my question is, I know the original contract, was it for 3 bar screens and we're adding a 4th one?
No, we're not adding a 4th one. It's still
Okay.
3 bar screens.
So what took so long with regard to the contract in terms of delay?
Yeah, so the project was just at the time it wasn't a high priority project. The plant had other projects that were more higher priority. So the project got put on hold. So, and then, COVID happened, there was funding issues. So it's just the project, we reinitiated design a few years ago. We're at 90% design. We plan on wrapping up design in the next 3 months. And we come to the board for sole sourcing at 90%.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Seeing no other hands raised, I just want to clarify, the total amount is $3,072,000 that we're approving today?
That is correct.
Thank you. Is there a motion on this item?
So move.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Zatorsky. There is a first from President Pro Tem Grant and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Thank you. We'll take the roll call starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Great. All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you. So we have wrapped up our voting items for today, our last of 2024. So we will move on to our oral reports, beginning with a status update on major upcoming street improvement projects from the Bureau of Street Services. This is item number 16.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good to see you guys again. So once again, my name is Mr. Phillips, representing our Street Renewal Division. So we're here to make sure we keep our public and you informed as well as far as our upcoming resurfacing projects, so to make sure that we have minimum impact and delays on the community. So if anyone has any issues or questions, they could reach out to our coordinating section at 213-847-3200. 213-847-3200. So currently, right now, we have no major projects scheduled in our metro or valley regions of the resurfacing division through Christmas 12/22 to 12/28. But our update for our preservation program for the week of Christmas, the 22nd through the 28th, all metro and valley regions, we're only going to have 3 projects going with a total of 1.2 lane miles. So we are reached out to the council districts, and we have reached out with DOT and all our other divisions that we use for this to make sure that everybody has been notified of upcoming work that we have scheduled. All right. So we have a website that everybody can look at, is streetslacity.org. And if you click on the resurfacing open projects icon, you can get all this information there. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this item? Okay, and there's no public comment. Thank you so much for the oral report. We will move on to enjoy the holidays. See you in 2025. We will move on to item number 17, status of all contracts, policy number 793 update. Let me get to my sheet. We will start first. Ms. Yenegas, you want to kick us off for street services?
Thank you, President Corzine. This report is actually the contracts expiring within 90 days, not the status of all contracts. Martha Iñiguez, representing the Bureau of Street Services. Streets LA currently has a total of 10 contracts that will be expiring within the next 3 months. The first 5 contracts in the report are with 5 separate disposal vendors. We are drafting a new RFP to replace these contracts, and you approved earlier the amendments to extend the terms up to 1 year so we can complete the RFP without disrupting service. The next item is for the Normandy Beautiful Community Engagement Services with Redeemer. This contract will be allowed to expire as the scope of work has been completed. The last 4 contracts on the report are for the maintenance of landscape median islands with Green Garden and Far East. Streets LA will be exercising renewal options and issuing notices to proceed prior to their expiration dates. That concludes my report. If you have any questions, I can answer.
Thank you, commissioners. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. See you in 2025. Do we have the Bureau of Sanitation here? Mr. Pattison?
Thank you, President Corsand. Good morning, everyone. John Patterson with LA Sanitation and Environment. Regarding our upcoming contracts expiring within 120 days, we have just one, which is for as-needed maintenance of the scale calibration facilities or scale calibration equipment at 3 city facilities managed by LA Sanitation. It's expiring in March of next year. We are in the process of releasing an RFP. The current contract does have a 12-month extension, which we are considering implementing if we need to, if we don't get the new contract in time. That concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, commissioners? None. Enjoy the holidays, Mr. Pattison.
You all happy holidays.
All right, moving on to our Bureau of Streetlights. Nobody is here. Moving on to, we did street services, contract administration, had nothing to report. Bureau of Engineering had nothing to report. Seeing nobody from Streetlight, we will take public comment on item number 17 if we have any.
No public comment.
All right, we'll proceed. We'll move on to item number 18 from Bureau of Street Services. We have Mr. Lance Oshie here for a sidewalk and transit amenities program update.
Good morning. Lance Oishie of the Bureau of Street Services, and I'm pleased to provide our quarterly update on our Sidewalk and Transit Amenities Program, otherwise known by its acronym as STAP. We continue to move forward with installing new bus shelters and doing new sidewalk improvements out there to facilitate the installation of new bus shelters. So far, through the end of this, actually up to the most recent date, we have installed 45 new bus shelters throughout the city. We have completed 92 sidewalk constructions that will help us to receive new shelters. I also wanted to point out a few of the program highlights from the past quarter, or actually for the past year, actually. So we've almost removed 500 tons of litter as part of our program, just through the litter receptacles that are adjacent to our bus shelters. We've completed 18 PSA campaigns and displayed over 3,000 PSA posters on behalf of the city. From a revenue perspective, through the 24 calendar year, we've generated $13,463,000 in revenues from the program. We've expended $13,563,000 in capital. And so that's, the city is responsible for paying for the capital, and we continue to receive additional funding. We just received a $10.6 million check from from Metro to build out 400 bus shelter sites in the North San Fernando Valley. And so those are the locations that we'll be working on in the spring of this year. So that concludes my report. I'd be glad to take any questions.
Thank you, commissioners. Do we have any questions or comments for? Yes, Commissioner
One question. So thank you. Since our last meeting, you mentioned that when Vector receives a maintenance request, is it completed within 24 or was it 48 hours? Was there like a time window?
It's within 24 hours.
24 hours. And then that's the goal.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
The contract. If it is a situation where, let's say our bus shelter was involved in a traffic accident, and so the shelter is damaged and requires extensive repair work, they're required to secure the shelter and keep the area safe, the public from injuring themselves, and then they're allowed to come back within the following weeks to remove the structure and make the necessary repairs.
And do you know how much of that 13 million revenue that was spent on repairs? Because I know it's self-sufficient, right?
So I don't have that specific cost, and actually the maintenance requirements, maintenance of the program is actually paid for out of the Transit Vector's operating costs, so we don't cover any of that. We do cover the replacement costs. Again, if a shelter was completely destroyed, we'd have to pay for the replacement cost of that shelter, but the maintenance, the picking up of the trash, the removal of graffiti, that's all covered by Transit Vector.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for Lands Commissioners? Seeing none, thank you so much. Moving on to item 19. We have from Transportation Project status update from Metro and Department of Transportation, but we also have that for number 20. Are we doing, are 19 and 20 the same? City Attorney? Are items 19 and 20 duplicates?
So I don't know that they should be treated identically.
Okay, do we have someone here from the Department of Transportation? We do not. Okay, so we'll skip item number 19. We'll just proceed to item number 20 from Metro for a LA Metro status update report. Please proceed when you're ready.
Good morning, President. Sami Gali, Deputy Chief Program Management Officer. We're going to go through a number of major projects for LA Metro. We'll try to be very brief, so we'll present you all the information. Please ask us any question you need, but we'll go through it quickly. So we'll start with the West Side project. There's 3 projects, Section 1, Section 2, and Section 3 from Welsh and Western to the VA station. So we'll start with Section 1. And Steve, yeah, here it is. Go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Steve Kim, a construction manager on the West Side Purple Line Extension Section 1 project. I'll just dive right into our updates here. Our final design is 100% complete. Overall progress is at 95% complete. The forecast revenue service date is in fall of 2025. Taking a look at our La Brea station at the street side, we have civil restoration ongoing along Wilshire Boulevard. Miscellaneous traffic signals, curbs, bus lanes are being addressed. Most of the pavement and sidewalk work is complete. In fact, some of the sections are undergoing pre-final reviews with our Bureau of Contract Administration. Taking a look at our station plazas, that's the upper right photo. Architectural hardscape has been placed. The hardscape is finished in 3 different shades of gray, the darkest of which is placed here. Behind it, you can see the canopy with the glazing installed. It's been in place for a little while now. Looking into the stations, the interior room build out, architectural finishes, systems installation, elevators and escalators, and local field acceptance testing, or LFAT testing, are all currently ongoing. The photo on the lower left, you can see the ticketing area on the concourse level. The floor is finished, and behind you can see the elevator that would take you down from the plaza level. On the lower right, you can see train testing control in the TCNC room. That's the train control and communication room. Of note, a couple of weeks back, we did have our live car test where we ran a car that's powered up and down in both directions in both the BR and the BL tunnels at full speeds from 5 to 70 miles an hour. The testing was a success. Moving on to our Fairfax station, similar to La Brea, civil restoration is ongoing at the street level. Pedestrian ramps, sidewalk work is ongoing, in particular between San Diego Way and Spalding Avenue. Taking a look at our plazas, it's similar in progress to La Brea Station, but a little bit further along. You can see that the hardscape has been completely placed.
there is some protection board over the finished work so as not to damage it. The entry cladding, it's covered up, but there's some steel panels there, and the canopies with glazing are all in place. Inside of the station, room build out continues, architectural finishes, systems installation, elevator and escalator work, LFAT testing are all ongoing. On the upper right, you can see some of the testing that's in the same train control and communication rooms. And at the bottom right, at the platform level, the elevator's finish is being wrapped up here. The glazing is in place. Some of the elevator build out still needs to happen, but the floor is finished and covered up to be protected as well. Some of the notable LFATs that have been completed is fire and gas systems and the photometrics for the edge lighting at the platform. All of that have been complete. There are no planned street closures. The project continues to perform community relations and public outreach through quarterly virtual stakeholder meetings, email distribution of construction notices, field visits, and hosting site visits for select stakeholders. And I'll just read through some of the metrics here on the Business Interruption Fund. Total grants awarded is 379, an increase of 18 since last report. The grant value is just over $11 million, which is an increase of 661,000 since last report, with a total effective business count of 100. All right. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. This project is over 95% done, which means the building part is done. We're testing trains right now, so we're gonna be open next year, sometime next year. The second is Section 2 project. Zeph Farley, he's the project manager for Section 2.
Hi there, and happy December, happy holidays, etc. So moving on to Section 2. Next slide shows Section 2 significantly. So Section 1 may be 95% done. We're pretty excited. We're 75% done. Our goal is to be done by the end of 26. Obviously, you can't open Section 3 without Section 2 being completed. So we're moving along. We keep going on to the next slide. This is specifically what we're working on in Century City. It's construction of the stations. We have backfill in the middle of the street. There's a storm drain that was relocated to a different elevation to accommodate the station. Inside the station, there's work underway with the supports to make it actually a functioning train station. I realize there's a typo. It says CCS emergency exit forms. Well, it's an emergency exit stair from inside the concourse level to get up outside the station. And they're hanging ceiling panels inside the station to create the underground space that will eventually be occupied. In the bottom right picture, so at platform level, we've actually got concrete work. And if you imagine, like the dot in the middle of that picture is the train tunnel Reach 6 that goes to UCLA Station. So I walked it a few weeks ago. You can actually go all the way from the VA all the way through Reach 7, Reach 6, through Century City, Reach 5, Reach 4, all the way through. So the underground space has been constructed in all these Purple Line stations. And our focus in the end of 24 and into 2025 is actually going to be backfilling the station. So if you move on to the next slide, Section 1 doesn't have any street closures. We have continued lane closures, and I'll admit that there actually is an error on this graphic. We didn't show something that's likely to happen earlier than was expected. So in Q2, we're actually going to be in a position to start backfilling the station, and that's going to mean removing deck panels that were installed. And so there may end up becoming weekend closures to close Constellation Boulevard, because we're actually making progress enough to backfill the top of the station, take the temporary deck panels out, restore the street in certain areas so that we actually can get Constellation back to its final configuration. So I apologize for the error in here that shows no full street closures. Obviously, we have to do significant community outreach to explain to BOE, DOT, the board, the stakeholders in the neighborhood what is going to happen when we end up shutting down portions of Constellation between Century Park East and Avenue of the Stars. But it's a good thing. We're actually making progress to the point that we're actually, getting ready to backfill the station, restore the street to the public right of way. And so the last slide we have here, obviously we did do community outreach. The picture here on the left is when Century City has a farmers market every Thursday. This was the 20th anniversary that they had their farmers market, so our community outreach folks got a booth and we got quite a bit of commentary, people that came by. And we do have a relatively strong relationship with the Century City bid. They do ask us regularly for updates about work going on in the neighborhood. And we provide them the best information we have at the time about the various street closures and how the work is progressing. And then the last slide for section 2 is the business interruption fund. It looks like there are 6 additional grants granted in the last period with 2 more businesses added on. So with that, any other questions about section 2?
I do, yes. Just for clarification for our commissioners, because I don't think anyone here has yet been a part of the Metro street closure process. If you wanted to just briefly summarize why we actually do these Metro quarterly reports for our commissioners is the public right-of-way street closures. So if you just wanted to recap kind of what the process is on that. I'm sorry to put you on the spot on it.
Yeah, all right. It's a fair question, and fortunately for us, in the past, we worked really well with the city and actually had a full closure of Constellation Boulevard. It initially started out for 9 months, and it extended a couple of different times to almost about 2 years of street closure. But aside from the technical details of putting together traffic control plans, potentially traffic studies to figure out whether any of those street closures are affecting the neighborhood, there's a lot of work that goes into it, and it's a partnership between the city and Metro to make certain that, if a portion of the street is closed for an extended period of time, that the businesses that are accessed by those streets actually have a way to get through, or if they don't, they have alternate means of getting in. One of the bigger office buildings, 2000 Avenue of the Stars, happens to have multiple driveway entrances, one of which happens to be on Constellation Boulevard. So if we have a full street closure on Constellation Boulevard, we actually have to notify the building, and the building notifies its tenants that access for a certain period of time is only going to be through one of several of their parking garage entrances. So it's really important that we provide enough information in advance to the tenants to make certain that they understand what it is that we're doing, why it is that we're doing it, and generally how long it's going to happen. We sometimes say construction is dynamic, which is code for we planned on 3 weeks and it took 6 weeks or something like that. But the bottom line is that if we provide enough information about why we're doing it, generally, at least in Century City, the neighbors have been receptive enough to understand that there's a certain amount of work that needs to be done, and it's most easily accomplished by closing the street for a longer period of time rather than trying to close it at night and open it during the day, close it at night, open it during the day. So
Thank you.
that's some of the background behind it. Anything else?
Commissioner King has a question for you.
Yeah, I thought we had to wait till the end for questions, but related to your comment earlier, so even if, let's say, Section 1 is complete, Metro's not opening Section 1 until Section 2 is complete, or is that?
Nope, didn't say that. I'll let Sam chime in.
Okay.
No, we'll open one by one.
Okay.
What's happened, the timing is close. So between Section 1 and Section 2, a year, but we're going to open.
And then related to Section 2 completion is sometime in 26.
Yes.
Right, okay.
And you will see in Section 3, 27.
27,
There are
okay.
6.
And then I saw one of the marketing that, I don't know if it was Metro, but from when Section 1 and 2 is complete, from Koreatown to UCLA, it's about 20 minutes?
Section 3, UCLA is Section 3.
Oh, 3, yes. Yeah, once all the sections are complete, is it about like a 20-minute ride?
I believe so, but I'm
Okay.
not sure.
And then I did have questions related to Section 1. So it was before, I did receive, before my service here on the board, I was involved with several of the meetings, especially impacting the Koreatown section of this project, but just wanted to, there were some comments that I've heard that came through my way at the time that a lot of the translations that were done by Metro were actually not very correct, and it was more of a literal, so just wanted to convey that comment that even for me, seeing it on Metro signs, many of, especially the Korean translations were not correct.
So we have somebody for public relations.
Okay.
I'll take it back and
Yeah, just wanted to kind of
Sure.
make sure that I know people tend to just do Google Translate, but that's not the best way. And also, just wanted to make sure, I know there's the business, sort of the impact fund, was a lot of the initial sort of, I don't hear much of the uproar anymore, but businesses that were impacted along Wilshire, that all the cases have been sort of settled and there are no major issues related to that.
no, I'm not aware of any major issues.
Okay.
So the third project is section 3, John Yao, project manager.
Good morning, President Corson and commissioners. Yeah, my name is John Yao, and I'll be providing updates for Section 3. So the project is currently 57% complete with revenue service expected in 2027. There's 2 stations, the UCLA station and VA hospital station. For the tunnels, the contractors has been working on the cross passages, basically doing excavation and installation of waterproofing, as well as the final concrete lining in several cross passages. At the Westwood UCLA station, the main station box invert concrete has been completed. So the contractor is currently working on the exterior walls of the station and the interior rooms. They're also putting out false work for the concourse level slab construction. At the VA hospital station, station box has been completed. Sorry, the station excavation has been completed, and the invert concrete placement is 81% complete. We started pile installation for the pedestrian bridge that will provide access from the bus stops on the Wilshire Boulevard level to our station plaza. Water line connection work on Wilshire Boulevard between Bonsall and Federal is about 91% complete. Now, in terms of the upcoming street closures to support the UCLA station construction, in 2025, we're expecting to be completing the station box under Wilshire and also backfilling the box. Also, we'll be constructing the northeast and southeast station entrances, which is adjacent to the intersection of Westwood and Wilshire Boulevard. So most of the surface construction activity will be at nighttime. That's nothing new. It has been that way. Now, when the contractor works on the northeast entrance, the closure would be 3 lanes for Wilshire westbound and leaving 1 lane open. And for Westwood, it would be, they also leave 1 lane open going southbound. For the southeast entrance, when they switch over to that entrance, they would do essentially the same, except that the eastbound Wilshire, there'll be 3 lanes closed and leaving 1 lane open. I do need to point out for the orange bar there, it's not really if the full closure of Wilshire, but the contractor, they have not decided, but they, if needed, they could, they would want to close the eastbound of Wilshire, not the entire Wilshire, but the eastbound, in order to install the temporary decking for the southeast entrance. In terms of community relations, I mean, we continue to perform the outreach, having meetings with stakeholders. So that's an ongoing activity, and make sure we're answering any questions from the community. Last slide on the business interruption fund. So you can kind of see the numbers here since the last reporting. Are there any questions? No. Thank you.
So you see for the purple line, the idea is to finish the 3 section by 2027, way ahead of the Olympics. The next project is San Fernando project, and Greg Gastelum will present.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Greg Estella. I'm a Senior Executive Officer with Metro and the Project Manager for our East San Fernando Valley Light Rail Transit Project. And starting with a brief overview of the project consists of 6.7 miles of a light rail facility that will be constructed down the middle of Van Nuys Boulevard, starting at our G Line station near Oxnard Street and continuing all the way up to San Fernando Road, as shown on the exhibit there. 11 stations, also marked in circles along that exhibit, will be located throughout the corridor. We will also be constructing 10 traction power substations to provide the necessary electrical service to run our vehicles. And we also will be constructing a maintenance service facility near Keswick and well, basically quartered to the west of Van Nuys Boulevard at Keswick and Raymer Street. So we're continuing to move forward on that. The project budget is at $3.573 billion. We plan to start construction for both ends of the project, both the north and south end, and we are looking to target getting revenue service started by the end of 2031. So we'll continue to upgrade or continue to look at our schedule as we continue to advance the project. Final design of the design and construction of the project are being accomplished through a progressive design build contract. A two-phase contract. The phase one activities continue to refine the construction estimate and schedule. And through the initiation of early work packages, work is planned to be advanced from our phase two portion of the contract in the area of final design and the construction of utility adjustments and relocations. We have also established a construction field office at 14300 Armenta Street, and we have already started having public meetings at the facility as well as supporting ongoing utility efforts in the corridor. A public-private partnership contract is also part of the project, and that will provide us with the ability to provide solar panels on some of the buildings at our maintenance and storage facility, along with a battery storage system. And on area of property acquisitions and relocations, we continue to focus on the maintenance and storage facility, and we'll be moving forward with the traction power substation sites following. Next slide. Give a construction update. Some of the stuff we have going on in the field is field investigations that are continuing throughout the corridor to support design and construction. They are primarily being conducted at night and are supported by lane closures and plan to continue through early 2025. Utility relocation and abandonment work is also being completed by Southern California Gas and is also underway and planned to continue through 2026. And this will include both day and night work. The relocation of LA Department of Water and Power underground electrical and water facilities have been initiated. And to support the utility relocation work and the phasing of the construction, tree removals will be required. Our first permit includes the removal of 13 trees 9 in the median and 4 in the sidewalk areas. And the removal is starting to, we plan on starting removing the trees in January, and then we would be following up in the springtime with the replacement of those trees. The trees most likely will be replaced on some of the cross streets that are at intersections with Van Nuys Boulevard. As you can imagine, we're going to have to go through the entire corridor once we start building the rail facility in the middle of the street and redoing some of the sidewalk features. So further tree replacement along Van Nuys Boulevard will be coming in the future. Next slide. And I'll get a little bit more on the details of what we have going on in the corridor currently. At Telfair Avenue, a notice to proceed was issued in September to start work with the Utility Adjustment Package 4, is what we call it, and 6. The work at Telfair includes the relocation of an underground electrical utility vault and duct bank work. Work is at currently 60% complete, and we're looking to complete the work by the end of January of next year. Nighttime full street closures will be required to help construct the vault on Telfair, and that's planned to be started in January. As regarding utility adjustment package number 4, we intend to relocate 3 vaults and some duct bank work on Van Nuys Boulevard between Vincennes Street and Plummer Street. Work is planned to start in February of next year, with the placement of K-Rail being the first order of work to provide safe construction zones. 2 lanes of traffic will be maintained on Van Nuys Boulevard at all times during this construction activity. And then we're also working to finalize and get into the contractor notice to proceed with our utility package 2 and 3, which is planned to be issued in January, and the construction is commenced in February. This work will be between Galt Street and Armenta Street along Van Nuys Boulevard, and will include the placement of 17 electrical valves and duct banks and water line work as well. Construction will require day and night work behind K-Rail in the northbound direction of Van Nuys Boulevard, and nightly directional culverts and some weekend closures will be required. Construction will start on Keswick and Raymar, and that area will require night full street closures in the future. In the area of construction outreach, we are very proactive in getting construction notices and bulletins out to the neighboring businesses and community areas through actually placing them on door hangers, as well as other media means to get the word out on construction activities. Concurrently, we also have a number of opportunities to meet with the public through quarterly community meetings, stakeholder briefings, community events, and also we have a initiated community leadership council meeting to help facilitate getting word out on what we plan on doing in advancing the project, whether it be design or actual utility construction work or the major construction activities coming up. Next slide. And then lastly, we have initiated construction mitigation programs to support this construction and help ensure that we can assist local businesses through the construction periods affecting them. We have a business interruption fund that is going to be administered by Pacific Coast Regional Small Business and Finance in partnership with the New Economics for Women. In October, this BIT program was presented to the CLC meeting, and at a separate public meeting with business owners and held at a construction field office as well. Plans continue to progress and launch our Business Solutions Center in this currently projected in the spring of next year. And we have ongoing outreach activities to continue to share information on our Eat, Shop, Play program, again, to support businesses during our construction activities within the corridor. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I don't see any other questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thanks, Greg. So the last project that the G line, Melissa Lay, will present it.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Melissa Lai. I'm a senior manager with LA Metro, working in the construction management department. I'm here today to present, to give an update on the G-Line BRT improvements project. I think this slide is just an overview of the project, as I'm sure you're all familiar with. We have a few major components of this project, including grade separations at Van Nuys and Sepulveda, also including a grade separation at Vesper. We have a station at Van Nuys, an aerial station at Van Nuys, and bike path improvements. So as we're approaching the new year, we're expecting some construction to begin now that we have issued notice proceed on an early works package to begin the work. So in support of the fiber bypass work on the existing bike path, we're preparing to implement a bike path detour between Tyrone and Sepulveda. This work includes installing bike detour striping and signage and traffic loops. It also includes installing conduit and pull boxes. Potholing is needed. So safety was a large consideration when we designed the detour. The final detour route was presented to the elected officials at a staff briefing last week. And I'll hand it over to my colleague Rosalba to provide an update in just a minute on the community outreach efforts. So the contractor's also preparing to start some demolition work at Van Nuys Station. We're looking at February to begin that work. So this includes installing fencing around the construction site, removing existing equipment, including fare collection, revenue equipment, CCTV, assessing the existing art, clearing trees and shrubs, and demolition of the existing canopy and glass. So following the station demolition towards the end of the first quarter of 2025, we're anticipating the CIDH pile foundation work to commence at Van Nuys. So a majority of this work, I just want to emphasize, will be occurring on Metro right-of-way. We don't anticipate any full lane closures. We have some non-travel lane work at Van Nuys and the G-Line busway anticipated. But again, there's no anticipated street closures at this time. So I'll hand it over to my colleague Rosalba Gonzalez now to speak on the community outreach efforts for this project.
Thank you, Melissa. My name is Rosalba Gonzalez. I'm the Construction Relations Manager for the G-Line Improvements Project. And the biggest disruption will be on Van Nuys at the G-Line station with its closure. Metro is planning on temporarily relocating the stop at Oxnard and Van Nuys, and our team has been doing its efforts to reach all transit riders in LA City, letting them know of this disruption. So we are at both Sepulveda Station and at Van Nuys throughout the last 2 weeks, and we will be going forward after the holiday with pop-ups with information on where to pick up the rides, and we're also doing construction notices around the local businesses, including the Van Nuys Civic Center, which is one of the most visited spots at Van Nuys Station. We are also working with the Civic Center to make sure our notices are up there and making sure that when this closure happens, we are there to help navigate the transit riders to that new stop. And I do appreciate your time and am open to any questions.
Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Grant? Sorry, Commissioner Mitchell. It's a long day.
Got us confused over here now. I don't have any questions. I just note for the record, it was a long time ago. Another part of my life, I was on the steering committee for Friends for Expo. I recall the discussion whether there should be light rail or busway in San Fernando Valley, and that was the creation of the Orange Line. I also recall that at some point in time, there was no such thing as a standard for grade separation with regard specifically to light rail. And a lot of work was done with regard to that many years ago. I also recall there never was such a thing as community leadership councils within Metro until there was a desire to implement the example of Friends for Expo, a group of people who were actually advocating for an infrastructure project as opposed to being against an infrastructure project. So it's been a long time coming with regard to all these issues regarding how to get people around in a very safe way other than cars and or buses or anything like that. So I would also note that along the way, we certainly met a lot of people such as Dave Meager of your organization. I understand that Jody Litvak, your executive officer for community relations, is now on her way out, retiring. So I commend the efforts of Metro to bring safe transportation to all communities. And please give Ms. Litvak my regards for her very prosperous and well-deserved retirement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioner Mitchell, I apologize. I've known Rosalba for 17 years, I think. And I got a little excited, so I got the names confused. Commissioners, any other questions? I do want to just flag one thing. So beginning in 2025, we're going to have a monthly meeting at Van Nuys City Hall. I think for the sake of transparency and kind of easing the load on these meetings, it may make sense to separate these quarterly reports. And so, and having the Valley portion in Van Nuys, and then the other portions we can do here. So I just want to, not to have a discussion now, but it's something we're probably going to request, and I just want to put it on your radar to see, give you time to digest it and see what decisions you'd want to make regarding that.
Sure. And that's conclude our updates for LA Metro. If you have any question, happy to answer.
Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
See you in 2025. Ms. Zatorsky, I think we've cleared our desk.
That's all the agenda items today.
Thank you, everyone. It is 11:53, and our last meeting for 2024 is adjourned.